Operational inspection and testing. All information expressed by Standby Power Solutions, LLC, or its officers is strictly the opinion of Standby Power Solutions, LLC. Every week, inspect all generator components. Check the fluids, check the oil, the fuel, and the coolant. Inspect the system. Look at the belts and hoses. Make sure the belts aren't cracked or loose. Make sure the hoses are not leaking or cracked. Check the generator's output breaker. Make sure it is in the closed position. Look at the illustration there to the right. Closed and on are the same thing. You'll see the toggle is up. Off or open is the lower position when the toggle's down. It says O for off. If the toggle is in the mid position, that indicates it's tripped. Check the fuel delivery system. Look at the fuel lines. Make sure you don't have fuel leaking out anywhere. Make sure the fuel lines are not cracked or loose. Check the fuel level. Make sure you have adequate fuel to run the machine. Now, the engine is equipped with a coolant heater. This is an electric heater intended to keep the coolant at a warm enough temperature to start the engine even in the worst conditions. We like to see that temperature around 90 degrees Fahrenheit no matter how cold it is outside. You can get an infrared thermometer like the one pictured to the left. They're fairly inexpensive and they're available in a lot of different locations. Every week, check the batteries. Now you may check either the electrolyte levels or the battery voltage. In the picture to the left, I have indicated where the cap is. Now caps may be removed to check the electrolyte level or to check the specific gravity. Keep in mind, however, that electrolyte is sulfuric acid. It will burn you. It'll burn holes in your clothes. So take appropriate precautions. Now the picture to the right shows a maintenance-free batteries. Many batteries now supplied with generators are maintenance-free and there is no access to the electrolyte. The picture in the middle shows a dirty terminal. Keep your terminals clean and tight. If you prefer to test the battery voltage rather than the electrolyte level, you'll need to use a multimeter like the one pictured on the right. Now those meters are inexpensive and they're available nearly everywhere. What you would do is touch the positive lead to the pole where I have the red arrow indicating, and the negative lead to the pole where I have the green arrow indicating. That should give you an accurate voltage reading. During your weekly inspection, make sure all controls remain in the automatic mode. Every month, do all your weekly inspections, plus check the battery electrolyte specific gravity. You can use a hydrometer available online or at most Autoport stores. You will need a non-maintenance free battery so that you can access the electrolyte. Don't get the electrolyte on you. It is sulfuric acid. It will eat holes in you and your clothes. Wear gloves. Or you can run a conductance test. You can get a conductance tester online. Every month, test the system for 30 minutes under load. All generators have to undergo this test. Start the system at the transfer switch and transfer all transfer switches. With diesel systems, you must reach 30% of rated load. If you're unable to attain 30%, you may do an annual load bank. With gas systems, available load is all that's necessary. Every year, you need to exercise the generator's output breaker. This is pretty simple. Just turn it off and then back on again and record that you've done that. In addition, you need to have the diesel fuel tested in a reliable laboratory to ASTM standards. Every 3 years, you need to conduct a 4-hour load test with the building load connected. All transfer switches must be transferred. With diesel systems, it has to reach 30% of load for the first 3 hours and 75% for the last hour. You may need to connect a load bank to this in order to supplement the building's load. For gas systems, you don't need a load bank, just the available load is adequate. All information expressed by Standby Power Solutions, LLC, or its officers is strictly the opinion of Standby Power Solutions, LLC. Standby Power Solutions, LLC disclaims any liability for any personal injury, property, or other damages of any nature whatsoever, whether special, indirect, consequential, or compensatory, directly or indirectly resulting from the publication, use of, or reliance on this website or any information derived thereof. Standby Power Solutions, LLC also makes no guarantee or warranty as to the accuracy or completeness of any information contained herein. Anyone using this website should rely on his or her own independent judgment, or, as appropriate, seek the advice of a competent professional in determining the exercise of reasonable care in any given circumstance. All rights reserved. Do not reproduce without express written permission.